Slightly overwhelmed and am still, I think, with all of the things we need to like come into uh like that we need to discuss, and it feels like there's not enough time. I was talking to Tim today that everything like reached the level of urgency that maybe we need to take a deep breath. And I was just having a super interesting call with Jess and Renzo and Jeff about this governance presentation we're going to give, and there's just so much depth of soft governance we have reached with the community that I'm really like excited for all of us and for this process that we're going. Just wanted to share a little bit of how we are experimenting with so many tools that we are really seeing the behavioral layer of it and how that affects like us as a community and even other communities, and how the, multiple people are starting to experiment different tools. Let me just put this in the agenda. Sorry, I didn't have time to make like a beautiful agenda today, so it's a bit chaotic. And post in the chat. So as an intro, want to keep it short and just hear from everyone, like how are you doing? How are you feeling the everything that is going on? Are you feeling a similar like intensity? And if so, like what do you think we can do to remain ourselves grounded? And yeah, just a quick check-in, maybe a minute each, just to hear from you guys. I'll give my quick in that I'm feeling very crazy. I did something super stupid today. I sent all my money to an account that doesn't exist anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to figure this out. So it's been like in the middle of this happening. And a lot of initiatives happening with it's very exciting, but yeah, I'm feeling a bit all over the place today. So I'll pass to and how I think we can that I can come back into ground is just to take a deep breath and solve one thing at a time. And I'll pass to Juan.
Thanks, Livy. I feel a little bit like recharged. I feel like last weeks I was so like deep into work that I was not taking time for myself. But like this weekend I like unplugged for everything. And like yesterday I went to visit my parents and I spent some time with my niece, and I don't know, that like recharged a little bit my batteries. But I feel the same, that like temperature is getting higher, and that this is the moment where all things like should like be working and deploying. But I also feel that we have chosen to be here, and that all the challenges that we face are going to be possible if we continue with the same energy that we have been having right now. And I also had a problem sending money to a bad address. So Grief helped me. So like, you know who can like you contact for that. And I will pass to Nate.
Yeah, thank you, Juan. I'm doing good. Yeah, bit tired from this past weekend, trying to staff up people at the restaurant. It's a little bit harder than I thought, so I'm pretty exhausted. Outside of that, I'm really excited about the upcoming hatch and what I'm doing to keep myself grounded. Trying to get some sleep, but yeah, other than that, eating healthier, I guess. Um, I will pass it to Tam.
Hey, so yeah, it's one of the points I had for my sync with Livia today. Is like, does it feel a little chaotic? Like, should it feel like this? Should we be mitigating this? There was a tweet over the weekend where somebody wrote, "Move slow and fix things," and I really liked it. And I was like, God, that reminds me of the saying that maybe a very long time ago, like 2 decades ago, I worked with a Cuban systems administrator, and we were in a rush to do something, and he was like, dress me slowly. I'm in a hurry. And I was like, Gary, what the hell are you talking about? And he was like, it's a Spanish saying. And, he attributed to Bolivar, people attribute it to Bonaparte. And it means like, it was going into battle. And, if you're a general going into battle, you need to do things really slowly to make sure you don't F anything up. Because when you're in a rush, you make errors, make mistakes, people around you start to panic. It just causes all of this panic around you because you're in a rush. And as a parent, you see it with kids too. Like if things are starting to escalate and there's like tensions rising, you just go super calm and super slowly. And it's sort of like everyone around you starts to go slow and calmly too. And then you don't make mistakes. And I feel like we've been having a lot of like urgent things hit us at the same time. And, we are in an urgent environment. Like we should definitely act with a sense of urgency, but reaction mode is super exhausting. So being proactive towards the things that are coming is sort of like my mindset. And I feel like, I think we developed a really nice process to be thoughtful about the work that we're doing, and then to plan it, and then to have mutual accountability, and to have our Scrum process, and to we really developed this nice system, but we're not really using it. And it's sort of where I'm coming back into my like, okay, if I have a superpower, if like I have any superpower, it's like delivering very large, very complex projects. So, and part of me is just like, all right, let's go back and like trust the process and trust the system, and go back to using Zen Hub and like using it more effectively. I think the last two retrospectives, we've admitted that we're not really updating it, not really using it. And I feel like this is somewhere where I can help us sort of be thoughtful and premeditative in our work. The other thing is like high visibility. Things are happening and you're like, oh, in the last call, Chewy was like, I didn't know about the impact hour burn. And it was like, because things are happening without a lot of visibility for these things, and using our process, like one of the goals of designing this process was like making sure all the working group works was visible. So you didn't have to be in a meeting to hear something. If this was visible to everybody at the same time. So I feel like, and the expectation of what's to come next, like what are we going to do next, is also really important. So I'm thinking like, it feels chaotic, but there is a very clear solution, and we can and I know how I can contribute to helping solve this feeling of like, anxiety and chaos. And what was the second part of the question? What am I doing this weekend? What?
Sure, Tam.
I'll pass to somebody else. Thanks for asking this question, because I feel like, oh man, we're gonna this is gonna be awesome. It'll be really good. It was really good when we were really following the process and trusting the process. And then I feel like we went a little off, and it got like, what's happening over there? But we don't know anything anymore. And even I feel like that. So going back into it. And I'll pass to Nate, who always has something wise to say.
Just what? Pass to you, and then I pass to Griff now.
Thanks. I don't have anything wise to say here, though. I am an agent of chaos. It's really bad. I'm really sorry. And it probably oozes into everything since I'm trying to tie everything together. And so this is really, I want to apologize. I'm not good. Thank God for Tam and all the agents of order who can kind of put things together and make it digestible. So yeah, as far as how am I dealing with the chaos, I thrive in it. That's the problem, I love it. This is what I live for. When the DAO got hacked, oh my God, it's the best time of my life. You know, this is wrong. This is not. It's not okay. I'm sorry, but I love it. And the order, I know we need it, so we need to do it. But like, it's not going to be me that's making that happen. I'm really sorry. And I'll pass it to, let's see, who needs to go. How about Septimus?
Thanks, Griff. Yeah, I am also loving the chaos. And I actually think like the community is doing really well because even all of the conflict and that stuff, I feel like the community is together, so that's great. And what was the other question?
How are you doing? Whatever you want.
I'm great. I'm playing more games lately, but yeah, it's being fun. I'm winning. Yeah, I'll pass it to Manu.
Thanks, Septi. Yeah, last week was tough for me. I took some time off. I'm feeling better now, and I don't know. I meditate. I pray. I spend time with my family, with my niece too, like you, Juanca, nephew. That recharges me, and I know you're coming from Griff. I like chaos too. You're probably a little bit more of a rascal than me, but we both like chaos. I like order too, so this is why I appreciate Tam so much. Is she does things that I can only imagine. I don't have anything else to say. I'll pass it to you, Suga.
Can you hear me? If you can't hear me, I'll keep it short. Well, anyway. Oh, well, I've been
You're
Yeah,
cutting
having-
out, actually.
That's how I feel.
Maybe just come closer to the mic.
It's all good. It's okay. I don't know what. Yeah, here's my new image. I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah, I'm feeling the chaos. No, is it bad? Can you hear me or no?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll just stop talking. Pass back.
Okay. Okay. Um, so yeah, let me no, nobody responded yet, but I did try to get an update on how long is the analysis still going for? Does anybody know? The price analysis? It will probably
They didn't talk about it on the last call we had, so I don't know.
Yeah, I only have a guess. I know that the TE Academy and Balancer Labs is looking at it tomorrow, and then I think next week as well. I think they have 2 weeks, but that's not 100% confirmed.
Oh, so it is tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. I saw a tweet. Tomorrow is confirmed, but I don't know about the week after. I thought that they were supposed to do 2 weeks on it though.
Oh,
should-
placements. Okay.
We should probably push them to get some initial results before the next praise quant, which is 2 weeks from now, or less than 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to get some type of response because I think it affects a lot the hatch date. So if we decided to have one more week for the voting of the params and if they take maybe one more week, and then we should count one more week for a decision that will come with that. Do we think that 3 weeks is an okay time to the hatch, or should we have the hatch earlier and try to push some results for like this week, the end of this week? Maybe Griff, you have an opinion on that? Griff and Tim?
I think we should take as long as we need to take so that we feel good about, SoftGov being a go and that we all feel good. Like that's the most important thing. We can't be launching with some weirdness in our community. This cultural build would be a fail if we launched because we want to launch early and everyone's feeling weird about the impact hour distribution.
Yeah,
Cool.
I agree. I agree, of course, with Griff. I also think if it's a matter of like, are we talking about a week or 2 weeks? Or are we talking about a month or 2 months? And I feel like a week or 2 week is like, okay, if we're thinking it will take multiple months, then I don't think I think it's going to be very difficult to justify that actually.
Yeah, I think from the flow I'm seeing and watching the calls from Sunday would probably one more of that. Maybe we need like a couple more of those sessions. But maybe if the session tomorrow is productive, then we can have like a better place with it, and then we would just have to bring it down to decisions. So there was a lot of variables that I was thinking, oh, we could like discuss them and bring more to the table, but I feel like that was already done, and there's most of that it's being looked at already, and before we have more results, it's hard to bring other things up. So there was something YGG said in that call that I thought it was very appropriate, and it made me think like, wow, we never did that with the TEC. That is identifying our stakeholder profiles. And I think that comes to say a lot about the incentives that each one of us have to participate in the system and how this affects the whole so much. So the motivations, the blockers, like what is our unique resource situation, for example? What is our unique time situation? What are our backgrounds? Something I started to see how this problem that we're having, it's actually a great problem, because I think a community that is not diverse would not be facing these issues of like having to look into multiple perspectives to see if we're being fair with everyone. So that's a great step. And I think we need to map that diversity and to have more data inputs from like ourselves, because this data, it's equally important to analysis that we're having in token engineering analysis. So this is coming from the TE Academy, and it's been very insightful to be having this course of the ecosystem value flows. So this is a material that they put up to do a stakeholder profile. So I would invite everyone to fill up the stakeholder profiles. And the first session so maybe some of you remember that the first Hatcher outreach onboarding working group started with some students of the Academy looking into this in the ecosystem value flows of TE, but they weren't looking specifically in the TEC stakeholders, but more in the TE stakeholders. And some of them overlap and some don't. So I think it's important for us to even have that distinction and see what overlaps and what doesn't. And we can compare with the other boards that we have from before and continue to update both of them. Is there any questions about like why this is important? Okay, so just a quick overview here. So you can put your name or not. if you prefer to be anonymous, that's fine too. I'll continue to pass this board around to more people in the TEC. And then background story, we can use sticky notes that are easier, and just put a bunch of them, how many you think is necessary. So background story is just like, yeah, where are you coming from? And pains and frustrations is like, from where you coming from and what are your desires and your role in the ecosystem. What is your pains and frustrations? More towards the TEC. And or like it can go as broad as your motivation to be in the TEC, but pain and frustration more or less like correlated with the TEC. And then desires and drivers too. So what makes you motivated? And then this magic wand solution is like, what would be one magic thing that would end all your problems, that would solve everything? And then quotes is like, what is something you like to say? Characteristics, and then what are the assets and skills you can bring in, and what are the goals and jobs to be done by you? And this can be like very fluid, and you can put as much information as you want and just ask any questions if you have. Usually this is done in an interview type of way, but I think it is cool to have this insight coming from each person and give them the chance to fill up for themselves. And then if we see the necessity, we can have like further interviews. So we can have like 15 minutes to jump into it. Can everybody see the mural board?
Yes.
So, should I play the Groovy Bot?
Yeah.
Okay. I have been wanting to share this tiny desk for since the weekend, so it's like the perfect time.
Nice.
Good call. I was wondering what they were when you mentioned them, especially as it was French, you said. Cool.
And I think Wes fixed token log if anyone wants to just double check.
So just a quick question. Would it be advantageous if these were all anonymous or if they were more personal? Because I guess we know who they are, but still there's something interesting about having the profile versus the person. I don't know. I guess it's up to us to decide.
I personally think it's very cool to have them have a name and a face to it. But if anyone feels uncomfortable with it, then you can go anonymous.
Yeah, I actually don't feel great. I don't know. I really value privacy, and it's very tough for me. You know, like put it there, anyone can check it. I don't know. But yeah, it's my personal feeling.
Yeah, I'm seeing they're all like pretty empty. Maybe maybe it's a bit like not so easy to fill them out by ourselves. So
I think it's hard to fill out fast. Like I feel like I need to sit and think what I want to phrase, how I want to say it.
Maybe it's easy to feel it fast when you're doing for someone else, but not for yourself. So maybe this was not, maybe that's why they're usually done in interviews, because it's probably way better to get the information from interviews.
Yeah, I think surveys are a really good format for it in terms of just, and not having so many open-ended questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, background story is really tough. Where do I start? And maybe it's sort of like chronological, reverse chronological order is the easiest place to go.
Or maybe just time box it. Say, I'm going to spend 20 seconds max, one sentence, whatever it is. Move on. I don't know. It depends. How deep do we want to go on this?
Yeah.
What does ecosystem role mean exactly?
So what your role in the ecosystem would be, like product owner, for example.
In the TEC ecosystem?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think actually the pain, frustration, and desires and drivers can be more like as a person.
And what's the magic wand solution?
Like what would solve all your problems with one hit? How's everyone doing? It's not so easy, right, to write about ourselves. I think we can.
The reflection part takes time. That's all. But I'm getting there.
I think we could stop and have a round of sharing. I think when speaking about it, also it helps to like process a little bit. And then we can continue later. And if we feel the necessity, we can start interviewing each other. I think this can be an interview of like 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Can I pass to you, Juan, to share a little bit?
Yeah, thanks, Livy. Well, my background, I feel that coming from Colombia is like something that like have marked like my perspective of things, and also my place and the ways I can contribute in this space. So yeah, because coming from yeah um, a place where we are so historical, like used to war and violence, that's like something that has shaped my interest of promoting peace and to see less violence around the world. So yeah, and I am the younger brother of four, and thanks of my brother is that I entered into crypto. I have laboral experience in two universities. I love studying, and I started studying philosophy, then jumped to political science, and then made a specialization and then a master's degree in conflict management. I think a really big pain that I have is like geopolitical inequalities. I mean, it's like for me, so it's something of every day to see like why are so many countries like suffering while we are in just one world. It's like that's my main frustration, and also something that drives me to work. I think my magic one solution is dialogue, and my goals is to take care of the well-being of people in communities and promote gravity as a commons to foster understanding of conflict management as a public good. My quote is conflict is everywhere and is an expression of diversity. And my characteristic is that I try to be positive, non-violent with my communication, and respectful with different points of view. Yeah, that's like my stakeholder canvas. And I will pass to Septimus.
Thank you, Juan. Wow, mine compared to yours is like it's so bad. But yeah, I mean, I just put it mini few because I started very late. On background, I put competitive gaming, economics, and communities. I studied economics on the university, and then with communities, I was like, I mean, only in all those gaming communities, but I was also in these communities with Sam, where I meet a lot of crypto people as well. Then on pains and frustrations, it happens to me a lot, even when I'm gaming. Like hypocrisy puts me very angry, and then my desires is freedom, but for everyone. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think when I first met DC, and honestly, when I first here, it's just Sam was working here, and I just okay, let's make him happy and join here. And actually, I meet a lot of cool people, so it was fun, and I didn't add anything else. So yeah, I'll pass it to Griff.
Yeah, For mine, I kind of went really fast and did what I could to get it done. But yeah, just like, I don't know, is there something I should focus on? Just the pain points, I mean, there's just certain large scope issues that like impact our debt and progressive decentralization and making sure I can delegate effectively in these things are sometimes difficult. So I feel like a lot of my problems will be solved by just like actually hatching, and then where the community can have more agency and we don't have to be in this build phase anymore. So that's sort of the dream. That's my magic wand. Can we just like upgrade to a commons and start advancing token engineering? And is there anything else, Olivia, that I should pull out?
Just if you want to share anything else. Otherwise, that's great.
I guess maybe just like the difficulty of wearing so many hats within the organization and external to the TEC, like being biased by common stack requirements and Giveth requirements and all these other things, they get in the way. So there's some conflicts of interest that happen just naturally in this but in this well-networked space, it's really hard. And I'll pass it to Suga.
We can't hear you. Maybe we can pass it to Tim while Katie comes back.
Sure. All right. So, I don't know. So professional background, lots of different companies I've worked for, and it's usually technical, and then program management and consulting, and then fell down the Bitcoin blockchain Web3 rabbit hole. And, after a few years of that, I'm here now. Personal background, living in a foreign country, which is very different from what I thought I'd be doing. Of course, I have 2 amazing little kids. And socially, probably because of COVID, my life is here in this Discord room with you guys. So socially, things are starting to open up again. But for the last few months, this has really been my social line. Pains and frustrations. I mean, really, it's always that balance between doing deep think work versus like, okay, there's these 10 things I can do really quickly, and then you do them and the day is gone, versus like, I am not, like, my phone is off, my computer's off. I really need to solve something bigger. And that's always sort of the balance that I find frustrating. The littler things usually get a lot more attention and usually have more direct dependencies. Other people might be depending on them or things like that. And then, just running again, just every day I say I'm going to run today, and then I just doesn't happen because there's too many things to finish. And then, I mean, like, housework is a real pain in my everything. It's just nonstop. And, when the children are away with their father, it's definitely like there's no housework that needs to be done. It's just really a function of children in the house more than it is a function of being a human. And then I would say desires and drivers. Like, this is exactly what I wanted when I was looking for a role to work with other people. It was exactly this: to work with really talented, motivated people to do something that's never been done before. And, my first conversation with Griff and his sort of explanation about it was like, I'm in love. This is it. This is exactly what I should be doing with my life right now. And the other driver is just not effing around, not wasting time on anything, I've quit many jobs because I just realized I just don't care. Like, I'm there and I don't care about what we're doing. So it's time to go. And I just feel like every day I care about what we're doing. And I know that we're doing something that's never been done, and we're doing it with this amazing community of people. So, this is what drives me, being able to do this with all of us here. Role as community steward working group lead. And like, what does that mean? I guess it's like, iterating on the agile processes that keep us coordinated, keep our work visible to each other, so we don't get, we're a really fast moving team, and what we're doing is very complex. So it's very easy to have your head down in your working group and look up, and the entire environment has changed. So making sure that anyone can put their head down and work on something, and when they pick their head up, it's easy to catch back up to the environmental changes that we've had, the context changes, the communication changes, the directional changes, the roadmap changes, whatever it is, the culture changes. And then the quote, I don't know, it's the one that's on my head now, in my mind now: dress me slowly, I'm in a hurry. Oh, am I rushing? All right, slow down and make sure, you have you have everything that you need for the next step, instead of rushing into battle and realizing, your sabers on the couch or whatever. I don't know, whatever Bonaparte had when he was thinking, whatever he was thinking when he said this. But it's, it's just, it sounds counterintuitive, but the fastest way to get to the goal is sometimes just to slow down and take it easy to get there. To do things meditatively. And then characteristics, I don't know, like patient, thoughtful, open, empathetic, communicative, energetic. I think those are the things that I think of myself, and maybe I've heard the most from other people too. And that was it. That's as far as I got.
Do you want to pass it?
Who else did it? I can pass to you, Livia. I think you're right next door to me.
Okay. So background story, like acting, community manager of the Genesis DAO, and artist, expression, living nomad, studying behavior a lot throughout my life, and from Brazil. And then pains and frustrations, authoritarianism, dictatorship, oppression, attention given to oppressive systems and narratives, and desires and drive, freedom, self-sovereignty, a world where everyone is in contact with their creative expression. I think that's super important and underrated. And maybe magic wand solution would be like a month of ayahuasca for every single person in the world. And goals and jobs to be done is to implement Ostrom's principles in the TC culture, and help doing that with the help of all of the amazing people, and hold space and listen, and being observing and strategist, and maybe assets and skills and characteristics got a bit mixed here, but I'll pay more attention into that. And then quotes: attention and information are the most powerful assets in the world, and we need to take ownership of decision making and critical thinking for the win. And characteristics, I believe in the solar punk future. I think I'm critical, optimistic, and I put mysticism in the blend sometimes. And that's as far as I came to, and I'll pass to Nate.
Yeah. So background, growing up in a rural suburban area and moving out to an urban area, having a pretty consistent diversity throughout my life, whether it be class, race, and age, just different environments altogether, kind of influenced me. Education in a lot of different fields, political science, geology, public administration, microscopy, etc. Personal characteristics: slow, intentional learner, patient, empathetic, long-term mindset. My assets and skills: purpose-driven, team player, goals and jobs to be done. Continue to work on my projects. Continue my writing and trying to build up my computer science skills. And my desires and drivers are, focus on local impact, finding purpose, making money, and building my skill sets. Pain points are my technical skills, the lack thereof, and time, of course. And the magic wand is money and a meaningful career. So that's about all I got through. And I will pass it to Manu.
Thanks, Nate. Let's see what I have over here. Yeah, so not done yet, but so far I have background story. I have a BA in rhetoric and writing. Very interested in influence, not only in writing but in through digital media and social networks and that sort of thing. Been a blockchain business developer since I graduated for 5 years now. What else? I'm bicultural. Spent half my life in Mexico, half in the US. Very comfortable with that. The ecosystem role I put builder and specifically video developer, which is what I've been most active on. Quotes, I chose one by Ralph Waldo Emerson, which is in Latin, which is nete quasi veris extra, which means do not seek for things outside of yourself. Definitely a mystic, which is why the magic one solution would be lucid dreaming. I think I've done it before. I've training to do it consistently. I think just asking myself or the subconscious part of myself about things that I don't know about would be like a superpower. Still working on the pains and frustrations, desires and drivers, goals and jobs to be done for video production. Content production, I want to get more in the writing. I haven't done much writing since I graduated, but I do feel like I have something to say now with everything that I've been working on, or that I've been working on through the TC. And the assets and skills, well, I have the design agency I'm partners at my command, so to speak. Lateral thinking, logic, argumentation, specifically writing, and academic research. I love reading peer-reviewed research, a lot of books. It's very, very pleasurable to me to just find insights there. And I haven't gone to the characteristics or notes and observations. Very spiritual.
Yeah, we are on top of the hour, but thanks for sharing, Manu. Thanks for sharing, everyone. And we can continue to update them, add more information, and I'll reach out to some of you. And if you're interested, reach out to me if you want to continue doing this interviews with other people. I think it would be really cool to map all the community. And Craig, I know you didn't have time to do it, but also really would appreciate if you jump into the board also and fill out your profile.
Yes.
Nice. Cool.
And if anyone wants to host a Hatch Param party, please feel free to DM me. And this is the last day. We really need Friday and Monday Hatch Param parties. So if you're down to host one, please DM me and we'll set up a time. But there's a Hatch Param party also happening right now with that Vitor is leading. So
Yay. Yeah, I can host one on Monday. I'll talk to you first.
Nice. Thank you, Livia. Yeah, just DM me a time.